today's lesson on life is overcoming barriers to achieve your dreams. Most children dream of becoming a police officer, a firefighter, a nurse, a lawyer, an athlete, or a musician. No one ever chooses to become a convicted felon, a disabled veteran, a single parent, or the person who's struggling in life, living paycheck to paycheck. But life happens, things happen, but how do you move past that? Today's show is not about judgment. It's not about looking at your past and saying you made mistakes. It's about how do you move forward. And so I have some great people today who are going to be joining me to shed some light on re-entry and also how to sort of overcome some of those barriers so you can get back in the workforce and start moving forward in your life. So please welcome to the show with me, Mr. Larry Bronson and Ms. Cynthia Davis. Thank you so much for being here. Both of you, I'm so excited to have you because both of you I know do a lot of work in this area. So the first question I just want you to answer is just to introduce yourself again and tell me a little bit about your background and working with some of these community concerns.
Cynthia Davis. I have been working in corrections since 1996.
Beautiful.
I first started out working death row as a counselor there, and prior to that, I was a victim of crime myself.
Okay.
A young teenager held me up at armed robbery.
Wow.
So from that passion, that situation just gave me the passion to give back and teach and empower and help so that more of our youth won't fall into those same traps.
That's wonderful. I'm glad you were able to use that experience to find strength.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that.
Okay, I'm Larry Brunson. I'm a job placement coach, adult career counselor.
Yes.
And my background is human resource management, business and industry. Also, I've worked with the VEC.
Yes.
With reentry and workforce development needs.
Yes.
During the course of my events with working with as a counselor, I come across those with a lot of barriers.
Yes.
And one is returning citizens.
Yes.
And I enjoy that aspect because it's not over just because you made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've developed several programs to teach soft skills
Yes.
so those are barriers so they can overcome them.
Yes, and that's one of the things that I'm definitely going to talk to you about. But before we get into that, what are some of the barriers, just so we lay it out for people, that you all have seen that hold people back from moving forward in their life?
For myself, working with individuals returning to the community, one of the hardest things that they have to deal with is just getting employment, getting the basic information and being prepared. Like Larry mentioned, not having the soft skills is a direct problem for them. Not being able to connect and build relationships to let people know I do qualify, I am able to work a good job.
Exactly, exactly. And when a person's unemployed, sometimes for a long period of time, I've seen mental health issues, obviously depression from not having a job, sometimes 2 years, sometimes more than that. It's not just like I'm out of work for a couple of months. Family problems, which can lead to physical abuse or alcohol abuse, and so many more. What other problems might come to mind that you see with people because of the maybe serial unemployment or because of those barriers? Have you seen people have those other issues as well?
Well, I would agree. I would say yes, because even for the person that didn't have that barrier, if they've been unemployed for a length of time, that could be a barrier in itself.
It is, yes.
Depression, self-doubt, those kind of things. And what we do in our field, we build those back up.
Yes.
Basically, I think you mentioned something about barriers. Well, the first barrier is self-barrier.
Exactly.
And so we want to absorb the self-barrier first.
Yes.
And then give people information about returning citizens. What happens when they're incarcerated?
Yes.
The reentry process there is very in-depth.
Yes.
And if business and industry and community could know what those steps are before they come out, they would be a lot more comfortable with the returning citizen.
Yes, and later I'm going to be talking about how to become an overcomer of those barriers because Larry pinched on a little bit of what I'm going to talk about, so stay tuned. But Larry, I have a special question for you. I've seen you firsthand, obviously work with a lot of people and work with men and women about how to interview well because some people just don't know how to talk about their barriers or things that they've been through. How should a person sort of handle that background question? Whether the employer knows or don't know, it doesn't matter, but how should they approach the interview or approach that process?
Well, prior to interview is practice.
Okay.
I do something in my sessions with those persons with barriers I call the 20-second mirror image. And so essentially the person has to practice in the mirror what they're going to say.
Yes.
And you don't want to tell every detail. Just tell them enough, and then after that, explain to them what you've done after that point, all the good things you've done.
Exactly.
Be honest and open and direct.
Yes, yes. And one of the things I love that you usually will tell people, you know, we've been to the prisons together, is to take responsibility.
Take
Yes.
responsibility.
Take responsibility for what you've done. Don't under-explain, don't over-explain, but do it in a way, as he mentioned, that highlights your accomplishments. What have you been doing since you've been home, or, you know, what are you trying to do? But I love that responsibility piece of taking ownership. It wasn't my fault. It was so-and-so's fault. That's why it happened. And, you know, that's what people are always trying to get over on. You're always trying to take advantage of you. That's not taking responsibility. And so I love how you explain to people sort of how to interview well. And that big part is when someone asks, you know, I saw that you have something on your background. Please tell us about that. How would you, can you give me like a little sample so we can share with the audience? How would you, in you know, in one of your clients' words, how would you tell them to like respond to that situation? If an interviewer said, something's on your background, tell us what happened.
Well, the key is honesty, because you want to make the person that's interviewing you to believe what you're saying.
Yes.
So you have to be honest, number one, and you want to start by taking responsibility. You know, in 1999, I did something that I'm not very proud of.
Yes.
It was a felony.
Yes.
I served time for 3 years.
Yes.
But while I was in prison, I got my GED. I went on to take some college courses.
Yes.
I went through a reentry program. They taught me a lot of things about myself that I wasn't aware, and now I am aware of it. When I came out, it was pretty difficult to get a job. But the first thing I did was I volunteered at my church to cut grass every week.
Exactly.
So that
You hear
can go
that?
onto
Cut
your resume.
grass. Exactly.
So you want to build that portfolio, everything that you've done.
Yes.
Be comfortable when you're talking. Look directly at the interviewer.
Yes.
And make it believable.
Yes, and don't be discouraged. You know, when you are returning home, one of the things, sometimes you have to take the job cutting grass or painting or whatever. But, you know, Larry always also, I'm reminded of telling people, you know, the other skills that you learn while you're doing that job. It may not pay you a lot of money, but you show up on time.
Right.
You do great work. And so maybe at the end of that, you ask for a letter of recommendation. Maybe they can talk about your work ethic and your integrity and your time management and the awesome work that you did. And that may lead to, you know, a better paying job. And so I love that you always do that in your programs and your workshops. Cynthia, I want to ask you a little bit about your reentry program. Tell us a little bit about what you have going on in the community right now.
Okay, the name of the company is Jericho Supportive Services Group. We are located at 1205 Poindexter Street in the heart of South Norfolk.
Okay.
In the heart of South Norfolk.
Beautiful.
And what we do there, we assist individuals with everything from showing up the day after release to landing employment, getting education, connecting with resources. We help them develop new skills. We help them with computer skills. We help them practice interviews, find clothes, whatever it is they need. And now we're moving further more towards the educational component for college.
Okay.
Because some of them already have the desire to go,
Okay.
but they're just afraid
Okay.
to step out. So we empower them, we coach them, and we help them all the way through.
I think that's beautiful. That's beautiful because there are a couple of reentry programs, and a lot of them are nonprofit, and you know, a lot of times there are clothing components, there are coaching components, and so the more that we can highlight these things, we can help people sort of overcome those barriers. Now have been focusing on just sort of one, but obviously, like I mentioned earlier, a barrier really can be anything. But we wanted to sort of highlight this because this is the most difficult. When you have those legal barriers, it's harder for you to get employment, and then that unemployment leads you to other issues. And sometimes if you don't get the help that you need, it can lead you right back where you don't want to be, and that's not what we want. So let's share some good news. So I want you to just share any tips that you give those who are facing barriers, anything that you do to help those, and some of the resources that you know of in the community, because I know both of you, this process is a collaboration with the community. So what other resources are out there that you might share, and also what other advice would you give those who are facing barriers in the community?
One of the first things I would say, like Larry had mentioned before, take responsibility. Also come up with maintaining responsibility, but accountability and credibility. It all weighs together. So set a structure, talk to your support system, stay in place, maintain them, and connect with people that are doing the same thing, and note your daily successes.
Okay, I love that. Okay, I'm gonna mention something else that comes to mind with that, which is, you know, sort of the people that you're around. Sometimes when people come home, you want to sort of be with the same people, and I know some of them are family, but you need a new crowd. You need some different people in your circle, or at least find new people. You know, hang out at the community college. You know, go to the library in the community and just read a book or read the newspaper, but get outside of your house, outside of your circle, because sometimes being with that same circle will lead you back to those old habits, and that's not what we want for you. Larry, anything that you want to add as far as collaborative resources in the community, and anything you want to add for those trying to overcome?
I agree with Ms. Davis, but one of the things that we should stress is that come up with a viable plan. If you don't know what the plan is, get with a coach on a community college level, Opportunity Inc.
Love it.
Even the social services. Come get a viable plan that you can meet.
Yes.
And if you plan out your life, we know for a fact that statistics don't lie.
Yes.
If you have no skills or have limited skills coming out as a returning citizen, then you're probably going to fit the category of the $8 to $10 job, part-time. That's a realistic plan in your future. Get the skills. Get connected with your community college. There's lots of grants and opportunities for you to learn and get educated and move on. Your plan may be 2 years. It's not a quick fix.
Exactly.
If you've been locked up for a while, my advice would be don't come out and try to rush everything. Find out what the resources are first.
Exactly.
Plan your life out, even if it's a 2-year span, with small successes to keep you on track.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. And I think that's a great note to sort of end on. Again, stay tuned. We're going to talk about how you can be an overcomer from all of these things, whatever it is you've been through. Again, this is not about judgment. This is about you overcoming to move forward in your past, move forward in your future. Thank you again, Mr. Larry Bronson and Cynthia Davis, for being on the show. Give them a hand.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us on It's Life Changer. We'll be right back. It's time for me to speak into your life. Earlier, we've been talking about overcoming barriers. Now it's time to talk about being an overcomer. I want you to say to yourself, I am an overcomer. You are an overcomer. I want you to know I believe that you can overcome your past, no matter what the situation is, no matter what you've been through, no matter how, it was yesterday, it was 10 years ago, it doesn't matter. But I need you to understand that it takes hard work, perseverance, endurance. These are virtues that you need to instill in yourself in order to move past your past. You have to push through some things. Some things are going to try to knock you down. When you get knocked down, you got to get back up. The alternative should not be an option. The alternative of giving up, Many have developed mental health issues, family problems, weight problems, self-esteem problems. But as the song goes, we fall down, but we get back up. I need you to find your fight, as you often hear me say, to get back up. It's time for you to get back up. The first thing that I need you to overcome is yourself. Your problem may not be a problem at all. That's something I want you to really understand. Your problem, may not be the problem at all. It may be a problem with your attitude. Some people need an attitude adjustment. It may not be your conviction that is hurting you. It may be your need to live by your own rules. Did you catch that? It not necessarily why you got locked up. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sort of, your need, that impulsivity, that need that's inside of you, that you have to live by your own rules. Nobody can tell you what to do. You don't respect authority. Nobody can help you. Nobody can tell you that you need to come to work or what time you need to get off. You don't want to work a 9 to 5. Sometimes you have to do what you need to do to feed your children, to put food on the table. You got to get past that pride. It may not be the drugs that's messing up your life, but your desire to use them to cope with life's problems versus dealing with life's problems. I want you to catch that. It may not be the other people that are causing your problems. I know you say they get on your nerves, but I want you to understand it may not be them always. Sometimes it's you. The first thing you have to overcome is you. Next thing I want to talk to you about is reacting versus responding. a little tip I like to talk about when I'm doing anger management, because too many people, they naturally react to situations and to people. Some people are going to come in your life just to see you react, but I need you to learn how to respond, okay? You can choose to react or to respond. It is a choice. Many of the situations that many people find themselves in was a choice. Okay, you had the choice to turn and walk away, or you had the choice to move forward in that direction. Okay, that choice is very important. Remember, I said that every choice that you make affects your life. So you don't have to be an angry person. I have many people who say, you know, I'm just an angry person. This is just who I am. I need you to separate that feeling from the person that you are. Okay, you are who you are. You can create the person that you want to be. You can be that person anytime you want. But that anger that you feel is just a feeling. You can do something about that too, but don't put it together. Don't say you're an angry person. You are a person who's experiencing some anger. In fact, you are a person who can choose to be whoever you want to be. Whoever. You don't want to be that angry person, focus on being a good husband, being a good man, being a good woman, okay? Doing what's right by your family and your kids, okay? You don't have to respond to every person and everything. Reacting is when you respond based on your physical and your emotional responses. Someone made you mad, so you punched them. Someone hurt you, so you're planning on getting revenge, okay? You are jealous, so you hurt the person you love. You're feeling down, so you push everyone away. Responding is based on psychological maturity. This is how I feel, but this is how I'm going to choose to react. You ever had a situation where you know you wanted to fuss somebody out, you know you wanted to say something, but all of a sudden, thank God for the Spirit, something came over you and you didn't exactly say what it is that you really wanted to say? I need you to get in touch with more of that, because you don't have to respond to every person and everything that is said to you. Don't let people take you out of your character. This is something I always say. Choose to be who you are. What kind of person do I want to be? And then when you choose that before you go out into the world, you can be that person when people approach you with stupid things, when life approaches you with crazy things. You can choose to be that person that you need to be. People say, I can't control others. It's true. You can't control others. You can't control what people do and what they say, but the one thing you can control is you. That's what I want you to take control over. First thing you need to overcome is you. I will choose. I want you to repeat after me. I will choose to respond rather than react, okay? To people, to life, and to life situations. My attitude is my choice. My attitude is my choice. And I am an overcomer. I need you to feel it. I need you to understand it. Because when you understand that you can overcome those barriers to life, you will be able to overcome whatever it is that you need to overcome. Thank you so much for joining me on today. Thank you so much for watching the show. I hope you've gotten something through the barriers, and I wish you the very best in your future. Thank you again for watching It's Life Changing. It's now time for our community resources. I'm so excited today. I have with me a special guest, Mr. Brad Burton, CEO of Our Youth, Our Future Foundation, Incorporated. Right? Okay, so tell us a little bit about your organization and what you're trying to do in the community.
Well, we've been around. Myself, I've been a counselor for close to 20 years.
Oh, beautiful.
And we decided to start our own thing to try to reach more youth.
Okay.
So with Our Youth, Our Future Foundation, Incorporated.
Yes, Incorporated.
We try to bring various things to them because we feel as though the kids, one of the main things is exposure.
Exposure, yes.
And give them hope.
Someone said that a couple of weeks ago in another episode. Exposure, exposure, exposure.
Yeah. So with Our Youth, Our Future, we have different segments up under it.
Okay.
For example, we have one called Teens Got Talent.
Okay.
Which we give a chance of the kids who are in the arts to perform. We have dance. Rap, what else do? We do the piano, classical music,
probably,
everything.
All that good stuff. Oh, that's wonderful.
Some of the guests that we've had perform, Bria Kelly from Smithfield, she was on America's Got Talent and The Voice.
Okay.
We have William Ledbetter, who's now is a sophomore at North Carolina A&T.
Beautiful.
He performed in the Hampton Jazz Festival last year.
Okay.
So there's some talented youth in the area.
I love that. Okay. So giving them an outlet to do some great things. Okay. And so what's sort of what's your mission or your vision? Why'd you start this organization? Like, what are you trying to accomplish, I should say?
Well, in a short story, we're looking at, again, the word exposure, to give them that hope to say, okay, I can do it.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the kids, when they come up, they have different people, their own peers, saying, why are you doing this? You're never going to college, or you're never going to, if you have a talent, you're not going to be big on that. You know,
Okay.
and everybody doesn't play sports.
Exactly. Everybody's not an athlete, you know.
Right. Right.
And then even I tell the youth, even in that pool, there's still a small amount of people who actually make it to the, WNBA or NBA or NFL. You know, I'm hoping for you, but not everybody makes it there.
But what we do, even when the kids come to us with that idea about sports or the music world,
Okay.
we tell them, be that person behind the glass, that producer.
Okay, exactly.
Not to take their dream away.
Exactly.
We had a good friend of ours, Howard White, who was one of the top executives with Nike.
Okay.
We grew up in the same area.
Okay.
And he always tells them, somebody had to draw that sketch on the computer.
Exactly,
to
right?
design Michael Jordan's tennis shoe.
Love it, exactly.
So you still
somebody had to market it, somebody had to sell it, somebody had to sort of be the production person, actually make the shoe. I like that.
And like I tell my own sons, I used to tell them, be that man you see standing in the corner with that suit on and that badge around his neck. He doesn't have to worry about getting cut from the team.
Exactly, right?
He's an executive. So we make those dreams become a reality.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so tell us a little bit about where you're located.
We're located in Hampton, Virginia.
Okay.
Right near Hampton University.
Okay, awesome.
In that area. Some of the other upcoming events that we have.
Okay.
We have a youth summit.
Okay.
This is our second year. Last year we had it at the Hampton Teen Center. But this year, June 6th, we're having it at the Hampton Convention Center.
Okay, so June 6th.
June 6th at the Hampton
Convention Center.
SOS Youth Summit. The
Okay.
SOS stands for Save Our Sisters, Save Our Sons.
Love it. Save our sisters, save our sons. Okay, June
6th.
June 6th, Hampton Convention Center. And where can people get more information? How can they reach you?
They can reach me at Uplift Enterprises Inc.
Okay.
at hotmail.com.
Okay.
Or my number is 757-303-2101.
Okay. Okay. And like I said, have that again, 757-303-2101. Beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to add about the organization?
Well, we have our camp, summer camp coming up.
Okay.
Which is called Camp A.
Okay.
Which stands for Athletics, Academics, and the Arts Equal Achievement.
I love it. Okay.
And then we're starting a leadership academy in the fall.
Okay.
With young men and young women.
Okay.
We're going to start like at the 9th graders, maybe some 8th, but we're going to follow them all the way to their senior year.
Okay,
Keep
beautiful.
them with academics and help them get academic scholarships and so forth.
I think that's beautiful. Well, if you need me, call me and I'm
Yes,
there,
ma'am.
okay? Do you all have a website yet?
Yes, we have a website in the process of being finished.
Okay.
But it is Uplift Enterprises.
Okay, upliftenterprises.com.
That's it.
Inc.com. Okay, so we'll post that too so that you have it. But this is a great way to get the youth involved. Parents, the YMCA is not the only place where you can send your kids for the summer. And I love when I hear things like leadership camps and different things that, kids have a variety of talents. And even if they're a little shy or you don't want them sitting around the house playing video games all day in the summer, this is something definitely engaging and inspirational, educational that they can do. So keep up the good work. Again, this is Mr. Brad Burton, CEO of Our Youth, Our Future Foundation, Incorporated in Hampton, Virginia. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining. We've had some awesome guests today. Thank you so much for watching the show. And remember, if you need to reach me, if you need life, relationship, or career consultations or coaching, you can reach me on my website. God bless you, and thank you so much for watching the show. I'll see you next time.